Iguodala to Curry, back to Iguodala, up for the layup. Oh, blocked by James.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to a brand new episode of At the Buzzer Sports. I am your host, John Drummond, aka Top Tier Analyst, and today we're going to be talking about what's next for the Oklahoma City Thunder. Now, you guys know that the Oklahoma City Thunder just lost in 6 games to the Dallas Mavericks, and the Dallas Mavericks moved on to the Western Conference Finals to play the Minnesota Timberwolves. Now, one thing I want to talk about first is what went wrong in that series. Now, obviously, we didn't get the best series from Jalen Williams. We didn't get the best series from Chet Holmgren. We didn't get the best series from Josh Giddey. Now, when I want to say that the Thunder is one of the youngest teams in the NBA, if not the youngest team in the NBA, they're going to be back, okay? They're going to be back, and this is kind of a good series for the Thunder because we saw a lot of good things. They were able to take care of business against the New Orleans Pelicans. That's something that you expect a 1 seed to do to an 8th seed. So that's a good experience for them. They fought adversity a few times in this series. They were able to take, I believe, game 4 when they were down pretty much the whole game. And SGA kind of had that taking over moment in the 4th quarter where he willed his team to victory. That's very good for him. And Chet Holmgren and Jalen Williams, them having a bad series is going to help them in the long run. Now, one thing I like that the Dallas Mavericks did is they took away the pain. Okay, they forced SGA to make those mid-range jumpers, and, well, he did. But guys like Jalen Williams, Chet Holmgren, Josh Giddey, they weren't able to maneuver in the paint, and they were settling on the jump shots. I know Isaiah Joe did not shoot well in Game 6. Josh Giddey did not shoot well the entire series. I don't think Chet Holmgren shot well either. So, if I were to say what's next for the Oklahoma City Thunder, obviously there's been a lot of talks of Kevin Durant going there. I do not necessarily think that is a good move. I mean, I know they have a lot of draft picks, they have a lot of cap room, and people are starting to say, what are you going to do with that cap room coming up? Or what are you going to do with those draft picks? Well, I just want to talk about the past champions, okay? Let's talk about the 2020 Los Angeles Lakers. They have a good surrounding cast around LeBron James and Anthony Davis. They got Kyle Kuzma, Rajon Rondo, Danny Green, Avery Bradley, Alex Caruso. Let's talk about how the Lakers couldn't find their way back to the finals. Obviously, 2021 I think was full of injuries. They may have made it back to the finals, they may not have, but that season was full of injuries. And then the very next season, you trade KCP and you trade Kyle Kuzma to go get Russell Westbrook, and then you lose Alex Caruso. Those guys are very important to a championship run. And if we look at, because I have notes right here, so if we go back just a little bit and look at the money they're paying their role players, let me just look for a second. I know Cason Wallace, Isaiah Joe, Aaron Wiggins, even Jalen Williams. If we look at these guys real quick, Cason Wallace is making $9 million guaranteed for the next 3 seasons. I know he's on 4 years, $10 million guaranteed. Isaiah Joe next season has a $2 million team option. Aaron Wiggins has a $1 million team option. And Jalen Williams has a $9 million guaranteed over the next 3 years. Now, I'm pretty sure these guys are going to sign extensions, but when you understand that these type of players are coming in and they're making impacts, I assume that one of these guys is going to be starting next year. If we talk about Cason Wallace, Isaiah Joe, or Aaron Wiggins, I don't know what's next for Josh Giddey. I just don't think his type of play style fits with the Thunder. I'm not necessarily saying he's a bad player, but he's just in the bad situation. I think the same for Gordon Hayward. Gordon Hayward is a guy that did not play well in this series. He was almost unplayable, but I think with another team they could really shine. So I don't know what you're going to get for Josh Giddey, but imagining that one of these 3 guys in Cason Wallace, Isaiah Joe, or Aaron Wiggins, I think it should be Cason Wallace because I think he is the best defender out of the 3, and he's always in the right place at the right time, whether it's cutting to the basket or hitting the open shot. I think he plays perfect next to SGA. One of these guys is going to be starting. And you have a lottery pick in the draft this year, whether it's getting a guy like Dalton Connect or getting a guy like Ryan Dunn or what is his name, Kevin McCullough, or you go get a big man, you trade back for a guy like Kyle Flapowski or Zach Edey or Yves Mystery. I don't know what the Thunder are going to do with that pick, but there is so much that you could add to this team to make this team a perfect team. Even if we look at the 2023 Denver Nuggets, who just lost in Game 7 to the Minnesota Timberwolves, guys like Bruce Brown and guys like Jeff Green, they were missed in that Game 7. Just for the simple fact is, their supporting cast outside of Jamal Murray and Nikola Jokic combined for 21 points. And that's not something that the Denver Nuggets have been that's not how the Denver Nuggets play. Nikola Jokic doesn't give you a lot of 40-point games or a lot of big high-scoring games because that's not how he plays. Because when you have a guy in Michael Porter Jr. who had 7 points and went 3 for 12 from the field, or a guy like Kentavious Caldwell-Pope who maybe had 5 points, and then Aaron Gordon who had 4 points, and then your only bench points was Christian Brown who had 5 points. We've seen the Denver Nuggets always have that guy. Like if Aaron Gordon goes off for a 15 to 21 point game, it's almost a victory. If Michael Porter Jr. shoots 10 for 10 like he did in the regular season against the Lakers, the Nuggets are going to win that game. So that's what I feel about the role players coming in. I really do not think that you need to go get a guy in Kevin Durant to really secure a win, because if we look at how old Kevin Durant is and how much money you're going to be paying him just to not be sure if you're going to secure a championship. I could understand if you are really one piece away from going to get that championship, but I think SGA is the guy that can take you to the finals and win a championship, because in this series he averaged about 33 points per game, shot great from the mid-range, played solid defense. I think he's the only guard since Michael Jordan to average 30 plus and 2 blocks per game in a playoff series. So when you look at SGA and what he's shown in this playoff series, he's the guy. He's the guy. SGA is our number one. Chet Holmgren, I think he struggled against Derek Lively and Daniel Gafford and Jonas Valanciunas, but it's his first season, his first real season. You're going to get him in the gym. He's going to add some weight. I don't hate bringing in a guy off the bench who can come and rebound, whether it's bringing a guy like Steven Adams back or grabbing a guy like Andre Drummond. I don't hate that. I'm not saying don't do that. But when you are sitting on a lot of draft picks to where you have guys who can come in and make a difference. Dalton Connect, he is an older guy. He is 22 years old, coming out of Tennessee. He could come in and shoot the lights out. I don't know if you're going to start that next to Shai Gilgeous-Alexander or you're going to bring him in off the bench. Who knows? But when we see that these role players make so much of a difference in this playoff series, I don't think you go out and star hunt for the Oklahoma City Thunder. And this was not the year, in my opinion, to be like, oh, let's go out and win a championship. Obviously, that's every franchise's goal, but you're not upset. This was not a championship or bust season. When I came in and I saw that the Oklahoma City Thunder were on top of the Western Conference, it's like, okay, if they win a championship, by all means, that's fantastic. But if they lose in the second round, if they lose in the Western Conference Finals, we can pull back, see what we have, go into the offseason and make adjustments. And I think those real adjustments are going to get a floor spacing point guard, whether it's making a trade for Tyus Jones, because I think the Wizards are going to draft Nikola Topic, whether it's signing an Andre Drummond, or whether it's drafting a Dalton Connect, or maybe even Jared McCain. I don't hate Jared McCain there. I also don't hate Devin Carter. So there is a lot of different places they could go this offseason to really round this team together. You know, like I said, I don't think Josh Giddey is the answer for the Oklahoma City Thunder. Not saying he's a bad player. I definitely think that he can go make an impact somewhere else because he's a great ball handler, great playmaker. Can't really inconsistent with the outside shot. I mean, there was moments where the Mavericks were just leaving him open, but I'm not going to sit here and say that he can't make an impact on any team. I know there are a lot of teams that would love a Josh Giddey. I would like Josh Giddey on Philly. I would like Josh Giddey on Phoenix. There's a lot of different teams that I would love Josh Giddey to play for. I would even like Josh Giddey in New Orleans, you know? So I don't necessarily think Josh Giddey has no future in the NBA. And back on rounding out some more role players. When we look at this playoffs in particular, we have seen role players take over games and win games for these teams. Look at last night. Anthony Edwards shot 6 for 24 and had 16 points. Naz Reid, 11 points off the bench. Jaden McDaniels, 23 points. Rudy Gobert iced a lot of free throws. Not saying Rudy Gobert is a role player. He's the defensive player of the year and an all-star and a future Hall of Famer. I will give him that. But when players are able to step up, when your star player is not having the best game, that builds championships. That builds championships. Having a Derek White that can have 38 points in a playoff game. Having PJ Washington who can have back-to-back 27-point games in a playoff series. That builds championships. Aaron Gordon being able to come in and basically change his role halfway through a series. If we know, I think in game 3, Aaron Gordon was the one who started handling the ball more because the Minnesota Timberwolves were trapping Jamal Murray and making him make decisions with the ball instead of Nikola Jokic. Instead, Mike Malone put Aaron Gordon into the job where he's going to bring the ball up on the floor. He's going to make decisions on whether I'm going to get Jamal Murray open or I'm going to get Nikola Jokic the ball and let him create. Being able to step in and take an opportunity like that to give your team the W, that's how championships are made nowadays. That's the new generation of basketball. And I feel as though that's why we are getting so many different champions. If we look at the past 5 seasons, they've all been different championships. If we look at 2019 Raptors, 2020 Lakers, 2021 Bucks, 2022 Warriors, 2023 Nuggets. Now 2024, we have 4 different teams who have an opportunity to get for their best players to get their first ring. So, like I said, if the Thunder would have won a championship, great. By all means, that's fantastic. But I think this was a great opportunity to learn, step back a little bit, see what you have. See what you have. I don't think a roster-altering move is needed. I necessarily don't. Especially for a Western Conference that's going to get extremely harder next season. We got the Memphis Grizzlies, who are going to come back next year. They have the 9th pick in the draft. They have John Morant, who is an MVP caliber type of player, who's going to be coming back. And they're probably going to have a top 10 defense in the league with Marcus Smart and Vince Williams and Jaren Jackson and maybe drafting Donovan Clingan. They're going to have a top 10 defense next year. And then you have teams like the Houston Rockets, who made a push to the play-in, push in the play-in late in the regular season this year. Jalen Green looked like he finally got it together. Alperen Sengun looks like he's going to be an all-star caliber big man for years to come. The Sacramento Kings, who are only going to get better. They have a lottery pick as well, So there is a lot of teams that I think are going to get a lot better next year. So really getting that star player, how much does that really increase your championship odds? How much does it really increase your championship odds? And then you lose out on guys like, if you have to trade for Kevin Durant, I'm sure the Thunder are going to ask for Jalen Williams and Cason Wallace. Do you really want to lose that? Do you really want to lose that? And then you're going to lose more picks for getting 2 years of Kevin Durant when Jalen Williams can be a consistent all-star year to year. He didn't have the best series, I know. But we are not going to neglect the fact that Jalen Williams is a great shot creator, he's a great shooter, and he's a great defender. And I think a lot of people did not know that until the Dallas series, where he was having possessions on Kyrie Irving, having possessions on Luka Doncic, getting steals. I think with the way that a championship team is built nowadays, that is not the move to go. Anyway, if you guys like this type of content, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. I appreciate everybody watching me. God bless you all. We are almost at 200 subscribers. So if you are watching this video, please make sure you hit that subscribe button. God bless everybody that does. I appreciate and love you all. And I'm out. Peace.